We talk today with Thomas Henle from the University of Dresden. He's award winner of the Joseph König Commemorative Medal. Professor Henle, this award is presented to scientists who have made special contributions to the scientific development and the promotion and recognition of food chemistry. What does this award mean to you?
Well, first of all, this award is a huge appreciation and a great honor. I must say, when I started my career about 35 years ago, I have never thought about receiving this medal. So these members or these colleagues in this list of award winners is some kind of a hall of fame in food chemistry, and I never thought that I would receive this medal. It's, from that point of view, a great honor. And in particular, it's an honor and an appreciation for my team. I must say that I received this medal only on behalf of a large number of people who work together with me. And from that point of view, I'm very proud for what we have achieved during the last years, and in particular, I'm proud of my team, I must say.
What distinguishes your research? What are your current research areas?
Well, as a food chemist, we of course deal with foods, and the main topic we're working on is reactions of food during processing. So most of our food is eaten after a certain type of processing, heating in particular, and what we are particularly interested in is are the chemical reactions which occur during food processing. So a lot of individual compounds are formed which have an impact on the structure of proteins, on carbohydrates, of lipids and so on. And this is one of the topics we have been working on for many years now. In the last years, we also dealt with some other aspects, in particular with nanostructured materials. I always would like to say nano by nature, meaning compounds which are present in food and in a nanostructured dimension, but from nature. So casein micelles, for instance. And a third topic is high pressure treatment of foods, and in particular the chemical reactions occurring during a high pressure treatment. So this is the different areas we're working on.
What are the favorite topics you want to investigate in the next years?
Well, one of the most fascinating things we're working on is the relation between food and evolution, human food and evolution. And one of the hypotheses we are following is that humans have adopted in particular to cooked foods. So cooking made us human. And the biochemical basis for this is virtually unknown. And one of the ideas we follow is that in particular the human microbiota, the microorganisms which live in our colon, have developed certain mechanisms in order to deal with the compounds which are formed during heat processing. And this is something which we would like to follow for the next 3 or 4 years or so.
Food habits. Did you change your habits, what you eat, what you like, regarding your science you are doing on this?
Well, that's an interesting question, and usually I say no. Of course, when you know about the things which occur in foods, or which are present in foods, or which occur during cooking, one might think about, oh, do you still eat everything what you are served? But in particular, I eat more or less everything. The only thing I avoid, but this is my special way of eating, I don't like raw food, in particular raw meat or or raw milk, for instance. But in other aspects, I don't have any preferences.
But in fact, there is a real practical aim of food science, and you are also a founder and an advisor of a university brewery.
Yes, that's correct. So food chemistry, of course, in particular, is always a directly practically relevant connection. So food chemistry per se has a practical relevance. And indeed, I was lucky to find a good friend and a good colleague, Jan Weigand from the Institute of Inorganic Chemistry. And we together had the idea some years ago to develop a practical course for brewing. So to study the chemistry and to study the technology of brewing, in particular for the students. And this project worked very well, I must say. And in 2019, Jan and I decided to start a startup, the Lormans Brewery, which, according to our, let's say, PR strategy, is the first university brewery of Germany.
And what distinguishes your university brewery from other normal breweries?
Well, of course, brewing is not a brand new idea, of course. And founding a brewery also is not so spectacular on the one hand, but I think what is important for us is that for us, brewing, and in particular or things related to this, is, let's say, an instrument to communicate with people. So what we would like to establish is that our brewery, and in particular the brew house, which we currently are building, is some kind of a basis for science communication. So using food chemistry or using brewing science as a vehicle, so to say, in order to communicate with the people and to transfer research to the public. I think this is a very important topic, of course, also for the GDCh, in order to think about ideas for this third mission. And for this, I think this brewery may help.
And the science behind brewing, is there still something new to find out?
Yeah, absolutely. In particular, concerning the compounds which are formed, for instance, during fermentation. And this is definitely some projects we're currently working on. I must say, when we started this brewery, we had a long-term relationship with some other colleagues, for instance, in Freising Stefan. We had third-party projects funded for brewing science and for food chemistry doing brewing, but we never had made our beer for ourselves. So, and we now learned how to brew, and we find that many things in brewing, and not only in brewing, in food technology in particular, in general, are based on experience. So everybody knows how to do it, but many things are not explained. So why certain flavor compounds are formed from yeasts during fermentation? How does the temperature affect a certain formation of individual reaction products? How does different hop varieties influence the flavor depending on the temperature and so on? So there are a lot of things which are still also scientifically very interesting, and this, of course, is then something we in the future maybe also can transfer to the breweries or in the practice, in a practical way. So let's say from the science, from the lab to the brew house. This is in a way a vision we are following.
So I could imagine it was not that easy when you went to the chancellor of your university and said, we want to found a brewery.
Well, on the contrary, I must say, the chancellor and also our rector, Dr. Handschuh, the chancellor, and the director, Professor Müller-Steinhagen, they were extremely fascinated by this idea. So they helped us a lot, I must say, in particular in the first years, not by money, not by funding. So this is an independent enterprise which is not publicly funded, I must say, but they helped us on the basis that they identified themselves with the idea, and they realized that this Lormans brewery can be a unique selling point also for the university. So without our chancellor, our rector, this project would have never been realized.
You're also an advisor for another startup, which resulted from your research or research in your work group, which is the startup PuraPep, which produces healthy food for animal welfare, something completely different than a beer.
Exactly, and this sounds, on the first view, it usually sounds a bit strange when you say we started a company selling or producing feed for pets. But the idea behind this was based on a PhD thesis. One of my PhD students worked on the identification and the production of bioactive peptides resulting from the digestion of whey proteins. And she was able to identify certain tryptophan-containing peptides which had a extensive blood pressure lowering effect. So they're inhibitors for certain enzymes which play an important role in the blood pressure regulation. And based on this, the idea came up to develop products, let's say nutritional products, which may help people with high pressure to decrease their blood pressure on a, let's say, natural basis. But it was definitely not possible to develop such products for human consumption, because there are so many regulations and so many problems with respect to health related issues that we decided to go into this food market. And we found, when making corresponding research, that pets, cats and dogs in particular, also become more and more old. And then they develop similar, let's say, age-related diseases like humans: high blood pressure, loss of eyesight, kidney problems, and so on. And based on this idea, the two colleagues are now have started a company, and I was able to help a little bit in this with this startup, and they are doing now quite well. So they produce corresponding pet food, which is now already on sale on Amazon.
Are there in general good conditions for startups in the Dresden area?
There were definitely very good conditions, I must say. So when we started these projects in, say, 2019 or so, there were very good conditions, in particular with the TUDAG, the TU Dresden Aktiengesellschaft in German, which is helped scientists, in particular concerning high-tech strategies, of course, or high-tech ideas, to develop corresponding business proposals. So the startup scene in Dresden was and still is very good, I must say. So we have a lot of help. This is currently under discussion, I must say, and currently under a way of transformation at the university. I don't want to go too much into detail with this, but we will see what the future will bring. But we were lucky that when we started our projects in 2019, we had a lot of support by colleagues who really knew how to start startups.
You have received the medal here in Bonn at the conference of the German Food Chemistry Society. And how do you see food chemistry in general positioned in Germany, and how the Society of Food Chemistry within the GDCh?
Well, food chemistry is unique for Germany. Corresponding study courses are not offered in any other countries. And from that point of view, I think we can be proud to have this particular courses and this particular training for the young people, because I think food chemistry, food safety is a very important issue, not only today but also in the next decades. But of course, we not only in food chemistry but also in chemistry, and I think in all other science-based or natural science-based studies, we have to face the problem that the number of students who want to study food chemistry or chemistry is currently constantly declining. And I think we, and in particular the Food Chemistry Society, has to, let's say, discuss this more intensively than it was discussed before. So I think it's not only, the problem will not be solved just by making more marketing, just by making more contacts to schools, and just by making more, come on, study food chemistry or so. I think we have to completely think over our corresponding study courses, and we have to face the problem that the studies we currently offer in all natural sciences, at least this is my opinion, not only in food chemistry but also in chemistry, also in physics, and also in all other MINT study courses, I have the doubt that these study courses are no longer compatible with the, let's say, the life plan of the younger people, of the younger generation. So what about 10 or 15 years ago, we said, we give you a study course, 40 hours per week, and just take the first lesson on Monday, and you go home from lab on Friday at 5 o'clock or so. But nobody wants to do this anymore. So I think the new generation wants to have more flexibility, wants to have more self-controlled way of making their life, so to say. And I think this is a big problem we have to face in our classical study courses. And in particular with food chemistry, I also think that we must be more open concerning an internationality, so to say. So on the one hand, it's a unique selling point to have food chemistry only in Germany. But to have a future, I think we must be more open for international students, and must develop a, let's say, a concept in which we still think about the traditions, and we wear the traditions, of course, the König Medal, for instance, but we also have to face the problem that, or have to face the situation that, let's say, life changes, the community changes, the ideas of the younger people change, and therefore we think we have to think our whole study courses over. This is my idea, or my, yeah.
Where are the strongest international connections of German food chemistry towards USA or
It's more Europe. So this is also based on the, let's say, the food law. Food law is a European law. So we have in the European community we have a unified law, and from that point of view, one possible idea. I have no solution for these problems at the moment, but some things which might be interesting to follow is indeed to think more about collaborations, for instance, with Poland, with Czech Republic, or with countries in Dresden in particular nearby, or in other countries, for instance here in Bonn, maybe with France or Netherlands and so on, just to have more collaboration, more international courses, which then might be more attractive for younger students, not only from Germany but also from outside Germany.
What's about Asia?
Well, of course, international means worldwide, of course, but I think we should be realistic, and the aim should not only be to increase the number of students and to attract students from wherever, only to say to our rector, look, we have an increasing number of students. So I think we also should think about a real concept and keep the quality. Of course, students from Asia or from African countries or so are also a possible, let's say, group of students who might be interested in, but to develop a real concept, in particular for food chemistry, I think the first idea or the first start should be a European view.
And what's about the difference between a food chemist and a normal chemist?
The first 4 to 6 semesters are completely identical in more or less all of our universities. So this is also possible for the students then to switch between the study courses, of course, and this is also one of our basic ideas, and this also should be kept. So food chemists are chemists by training, but with a special interest in a more interdisciplinary way of science. So following this basic chemistry, inorganic, organic, physical chemistry in the first 4 semesters or so, then many other aspects related to biological aspects, biochemistry, pharmacology, technology, and also food law is incorporated in the studies. And from that point of view, I should say that a food chemist is a special chemist, but a highly interdisciplinary chemist.
Thank you very much for this
You're
nice
welcome.
interview. And I always ask at the end of these interviews, is there something more you want to add?
That's a very good question. No.
It's a very good answer.
Thank you.